The Galactic Council chambers had never been so tense. Representatives from dozens of species sat in stunned silence as Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Federation stood at the central podium, her voice carrying across the vast amphitheater with unwavering conviction. "The Zilani people are now under the protection of Earth," she declared, her words echoing through the chamber's crystalline walls. "Any aggression against them will be considered an act of war against humanity." Ambassador Krex of the hegemony's ruling caste shifted his multiple arms in what could only be described as incredulous rage. "Admiral Chen, you cannot be serious. One small act of kindness does not warrant such unprecedented diplomatic intervention." Admiral Chen's eyes, cold as the void between stars, fixed on the insectoid ambassador. "Ambassador Krex, you clearly don't understand humans very well." 3 months earlier, the cargo vessel Meridian's Hope had been limping through the Kepler sector when pirates struck. The attackers, members of the notorious Crimson Syndicate, had disabled the ship's engines and boarded with the intention of selling the crew into slavery. Among the passengers was 8-year-old Marcus Webb, traveling with his parents to the outer colonies. When the pirates breached the passenger compartment, chaos erupted. In the confusion, Marcus became separated from his parents, cowering behind a storage crate as armed raiders swept through the ship. That's when they appeared. The Zilani were not an impressive species by galactic standards. Standing barely 4 feet tall with pale blue skin and large, luminous eyes, they were known throughout the galaxy as gentle scholars and artisans. Their homeworld of Zephyria was renowned for its libraries and meditation centers, not its warriors. 3 Zilani passengers had been aboard the Meridian's Hope that day: Kethma, an elderly philosopher; Zarani, a young botanist; and Joriko, a teenage apprentice artist. When the pirates discovered Marcus, their leader, a brutal Korthak mercenary, raised his plasma rifle with cruel satisfaction.
"Human spawn."
"Should fetch a good price," and that's when Kethma stepped forward. The elderly Zilani, weighing perhaps 90 pounds soaking wet, positioned himself between the armed pirate and the terrified child. "Please," he said in his soft, melodic voice, "the child has done no harm. Take me instead." The pirate snarled, his weapon charging with deadly energy. "Move, old one, or I'll blast through you to get to the boy." Kethma didn't move. Zarani joined him, then Joriko, 3 small, fragile beings standing against armed killers, protecting a child they'd never met simply because it was the right thing to do. The pirates killed them all. Marcus survived, found hours later by the rescue ship that responded to the Meridian's Hope's distress beacon. He was clutched in the arms of Joriko, the young artist having thrown himself over the child with his final breath, absorbing the plasma bursts that would have ended Marcus's life. The story spread through human space like wildfire. Now back in the council chambers, Admiral Chen continued her address. "The Zilani people demonstrated something that day that resonates in the very core of what makes us human. They showed that some things, protecting the innocent, standing up to evil, sacrificing for strangers, transcend species, politics, and personal gain." She paused, letting her words sink in. "The hegemony has been pressuring the Zilani homeworld to surrender their agricultural territories. The Mordak Empire wants to strip mine their sacred groves. The Trade Federation seeks to turn their libraries into profit centers." Her voice hardened. "None of that will happen. Not while humans draw breath." Ambassador Thez of the Mordak Empire, a hulking creature with chitinous armor, scoffed. "Humans, your sentimentality will be your downfall. 3 individuals do not represent an entire species." "You're wrong," came a new voice from the gallery. Every head turned as Marcus Webb, now 11 years old, stood from his seat. His parents flanked him, and behind them sat dozens of other humans, survivors of pirate attacks, victims of slavery, refugees from war zones. All of them bore witness to acts of Zilani kindness. "They do represent their species," Marcus said, his young voice carrying surprising strength. "Because that's who the Zilani are. When the Meridian's Hope was attacked, there were other passengers. Korthak traders who hid, vegan merchants who tried to bargain for their lives. But the Zilani, they stood up. They always stand up." Admiral Chen nodded. "The boy speaks truth. Our intelligence services have documented over 2,000 instances in the past decade alone of Zilani civilians intervening to protect others. Humans, yes, but also Korthak children, vegan elders, even Mordak wounded. They don't do it for profit or politics. They do it because they believe life has value." She activated a holographic display showing the Terran fleet's current disposition. As of this morning, the 5th and 7th fleets have taken position around the Zephyria system. The 12th Marine Division has established peacekeeping bases on the 3 colonial worlds with significant Zilani populations. Any hostile action against Zilani civilians anywhere in the galaxy will result in immediate military response. The chamber erupted in angry buzzing, clicking and roaring from various species representatives. But Admiral Chen wasn't finished. Furthermore, she continued, her voice cutting through the chaos, Earth is offering full citizenship to any Zilani who wishes it, along with full integration into our educational, economic, and military systems. We're also providing advanced defensive technology to the Zephyrian government and establishing permanent cultural exchange programs. Ambassador Krex's mandibles clicked furiously. This is madness. You're destabilizing centuries of established order for the sake of one species. Admiral Chen's expression remained stone cold, a look that sent chills through the assembled aliens. No, Ambassador. We're establishing a new order. One where protecting the innocent isn't madness, it's expected. She looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of every representative. Humanity has a saying, the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good beings to do nothing. 3 Zilani proved they understood that principle better than species that have been spacefaring for millennia. The Admiral's voice rose to fill every corner of the vast space. They protected one human child, knowing it would cost them their lives. So yes, Earth now declares the entire Zilani species under our guard. And if that threatens your political games, your profit margins, or your territorial ambitions... She paused, her voice dropping to a deadly whisper. Then you'll learn what human resolve truly means. As Admiral Chen left the podium, the chamber remained in stunned silence. In the gallery, young Marcus Webb watched her go, understanding for the first time the true power of the sacrifice 3 gentle beings had made for him, and how humanity honored such sacrifice. The age of human expansion had begun not with conquest but with protection, and the galaxy would never be the same.